I always wanted to serve on a jury.
I'm really super excited to be here, so I really appreciate you having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Creating this whole trial, Daddy.
I want to give a big shout out to the 13th Jury Podcast and Brandi.
Yeah, I applaud you guys. Keep doing what you're doing.
That every time you run into Phil Barber, you should reach for it.
And then I just look to the jury, and it's sort of like, look.
I was in the eye of the storm, and you guys were watching the storm.
Hey, if you're bored of work, come pop in and say, hey, we'll have some coffee.
You are a ray of sunshine, and I love what you've done with your YouTube channel.
Hello, good people. Hello. Good morning / afternoon / whatever it is for you. Real quick before it moves too far and I can't say it anymore. Becca Good, member for 3 whole months. Love you all and love being here. Brandi is by far my favorite on YouTube. Thank you so much. Y'all are my favorite too. And happy 3 months. And C. Morales, member for 14 whole months. It's been a blast. It has been a blast. It has. It is good to see y'all. I am happy to be here with y'all today. I have missed you. I was planning on doing some kind of live this weekend, but then I was sick all weekend. I've been in bed pretty much the entire time. So I didn't get to do it, but we're here now and I get to see you now. And I'm glad because I've missed y'all. Queen Oliver there, member for 15 whole months. Woo, woo. 15 whole months. Gosh, it goes by so fast. Happy 15 months. Selena K, welcome. I would say welcome. Welcome back. Guess I should say, because it says new member, but we know you. Welcome back. Cinnamon Bear, member for 6 whole months. 6 whole months. Happy 6-month anniversary. And Joyful, member for 2 whole months. I've missed you too. I have missed you too. I have. How was the storm for me? The storm was not too bad. We just got the outskirts of it. It kind of shifted east at the last minute, so we only got the outskirts of it. I never lost power. We lost internet for a little while, but I got internet back this morning, and that was fine. But I never even lost power, so it was good. It stormed like crazy for a little while, and that's it. We pretty much avoided it all. We just got like the very outskirts of it. On Storm Watch, yes, thank you. Remember for 2 whole months, thank you. Yeah, I know it's been really bad for some others. I had my I was watching when the internet went out. I could still watch on my phone, but I was trying to keep my phone plugged in case we lost power too, which we never did. But so I was kind of watching the radar as it was, shifting to see how bad it was getting for everybody. So I know that there are a lot of places in Florida and on up north that are going to have a lot of damage. So see, I knew it. I knew we were just welcoming you back. Member for 13 whole months, Selena K. Yahoo! I've been here for 13 great months. We are glad to have you. I don't think I got COVID because it didn't last that long. I don't know. And it was mostly like stomach bug. It wasn't like, I just felt like crap. So, but I stayed in bed all weekend. Y'all be very proud of me. I stayed in bed all weekend. Didn't do any work or anything. I actually watched TV. Do you know how long it's been since I've laid in bed and watched TV? I enjoyed it. Oh, they're here. Let me present. Present, share screen, entire screen, share. Okay. So they've got like a whole PowerPoint thing that they're going to be doing. Like they have, I was going to show you, I thought we had a little bit more time, but we didn't. I was going to show you his interview, the prosecutor's interview from Friday. Basically, all it is him saying what they're going to be doing today. They're going to go over a PowerPoint, give some more information that they didn't have, and kind of tell you, just tell us more about it. This whole thing's supposed to last about 45 minutes. So I'm actually really glad that and I'll show you the note for the release from the mom and all of that too. It's incredibly sad. I'm actually really glad that they're not doing the trial on this one, because it would have been so hard. It would have been so hard. So I'm glad that the family isn't going to have to sit through that. Who's the blonde girl? JMO member for 8 whole months. Y'all are my people. Love y'all. We love you too. We love you too. Happy 8 months. Hello, Tayo Toys. Ready to read Timmer of True Crime. Did y'all see the video of the guy out there with the pontoon? And it was like Florida man strikes again, and he like jumped in the water, like jumped off his pontoon boat, like belly flopped into the water behind the reporter who's talking about the hurricane. Anyway, it was really funny. Florida. Oh, Florida. Get in the car. I'm here. I've got a way to go, but I'm going. Get in the car. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see you. Welcome, welcome. Hello. Selena K, get to 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Selena. Thank you. I appreciate it. Welcome to our new members. Welcome. Sorry, I'm catching up on chat. It's good to see y'all again. Kelly, member for 8 whole months. Glad to hear you're feeling better. Love you. Thank you so much. I do feel better. I feel much better today. One of my friends texted me this morning and was like, do you need me to bring you anything? Supportive friends are the best. But I'm good. I'm good now. And I got to watch TV. Who knew? I watched the entire season of a show called Presumed Innocent. On Apple TV. It was so good. So good. Happy 8 months. Rona member for 1 whole year. Thank you, Brandi. One of the best years of my life. You helped keep me sane. Aw. Thank you. Happy 1 year. Happy 1 year. Dream Lady member for 11 whole months. Glad to be here. We are glad to have you. Yeah, Florida never disappoints, Kelly. That's true. Nana Linda. Oh gosh, that's a tongue twister. Member for 1 whole year. 1 whole year. Happy 1 year. Happy 1 year. Detective Vids. I'm going to admit I was concerned that you were leaving the YouTubers. I'm not. During the summer, a lot of times it's like there's not a whole lot going on anyway. And after the Karen Reed trial and then like not a whole lot going on during this, it's kind of been just like a lull after this. But I'm not leaving. Just had a little bit of time off while there was not much going on. Helped me get caught up on other things. I am so glad this didn't go to trial too. Oh, it would have been so hard. So hard. Sassy Hound, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm in St. Pete. Let's go see Sarah Boone together. I think I'm going to have to go to that trial. I don't know how I can not go to that trial. It's just, it's going to be such a wild ride. Hello, Advocate. Hello. Oh, I like your new profile picture. Hello.
Every time
It's that photo.
it is that photo.
Dream Landry gifted a membership. Thank you.
Can't say that.
Charmaine, yes, he pleaded guilty on Friday. 3 counts of aggravated murder, and I can't remember what the other ones. For shooting his wife, he got one for that and stuff like that. But I'm glad that the
I don't know if it matters.
I'm glad that the family isn't going to have to go through the trial. It's going to be a madhouse, yeah, for sure. I think I'm going to have to go. Sassy Hound new member, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Okay, I'm caught up. Yeah, it is going to be sad. Look, everything to do with this case is so sad. This one's hard. This one is a hard one. It is so sad. Making the I don't even remember. I can't even remember if I finished the video on this one. I had to stop like 3 different times because it would start hurting my stomach because it was just heartbreaking.
But no, it's not yet. No.
Allie B from Tennessee. Hello, hello. Hey y'all, I've missed y'all. I hope it's all is well. Hello, hello.
It's on the flash drive.
Yeah.
As soon as you go to save,
I would hate that. I'm glad that they don't, that they are not going to have to. Queen Oliver Dan gifted a membership. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Erica 843 was gifted a membership. Yes, the Widener trial starts in January, the last one to be charged in the Pike County family shooting. We watched one of those on here, not live because it had already happened, but we went back and watched one of the old ones because that case has always intrigued me. So sad. Holly Ann says, I've been hearing a lot about presumed innocent. It was so good, y'all. It was so good. So good. The mom has a daughter too, who she's the one who ran to go get help for them to call 911, and she tried to get one of her brothers away, and he, oh gosh, I can't even talk about it. It's so sad. Like he forced her to give the brother over to kill him too. Oh gosh, so sad. Oh, Case Scarpetta, I remember for 11 whole months. Time flies, time flies. Did the Sarah Boone hearing today get delayed? I believe so because of the hurricane. By the time my internet came back on this morning and I was able to pull it up, it was over. It would have been over anyway, I think, but I tried. Hello, hello. Any news on the Karen trial?
Thank you for being here. I appreciate your patience as we corrected a little technical glitch. My name is Mark DeCalvi. I am the Claremont County prosecuting attorney.
Dang it.
We are here, as you know, to discuss the Doerman murder case. We have a PowerPoint presentation ready for you. I'm going to do some of it. First Assistant Laura Barron-Allen is going to do some. Before we get started, I would like to introduce Claremont County Sheriff Steve Leahy and Chief Deputy Chris Stratton, who in January of next year will be the next elected prosecutor of Claremont County. There have been some questions in terms of where Doerman is currently housed, and I'm going to hand that off to Sheriff Leahy.
As about an hour ago, he is still housed in our facility. The judge is working, his office is working on a warrant to convey. As soon as that is done, we will shift him immediately to CRC.
Thank you. Laura, would you like to step over and assist me with this? Let's begin the slideshow. Just roll through it as you see fit. As you are all aware, in June of 2023, the Doerman family consisted of Laura Doerman, Chad Doerman, husband and wife, Alexis, who was 14 years old at the time. She is Laura's daughter, and then the three boys, Clayton, Hunter, and Chase. Some of the background, why we think it was important to give you this information, is to try to put some context in terms of what was going on here before the murders. Alexis has always been an outstanding student, very dedicated to her studies. You may have heard her mention in court on Friday. She loves softball, and she's a fantastic softball player from what I've been told. Was even on the All-Star team last year. Clayton, Hunter, and Chase are all happy, active little boys. They love baseball, monster trucks, fishing, go-karting, and on their property and hanging out with their family members. Chad Doerman worked full-time as a member of the Insulators Union while Laura stayed at home with the boys and homeschooled Clayton. The plan was, and they made this decision as a family, that Laura would homeschool the children. Prior to June of 2023, and I know this has been of some interest and some inquiry, what was going on with his family? Were there drugs involved? Were there prior incidents of violence? There were no reports, no prior reports, or any calls made to law enforcement for any event, any disturbance at the Doerman residence on Laurel Lindale Road. From the outside view, from the inside view, this was just a normal family that seemed very happy. We're going to talk about the days leading up to the murders. 5 days before, on June 10th, 2023, just a normal day. Chad Doerman takes the three boys on an outing to a local dirt track to watch some races, and they had a boys' day together. Happy, content, with no indication of any trouble to come. He discussed with Laura that she and Alexis have a little shopping day together, a little girls' day, little boys' day, and that was done. And that evening, the defendant did not report any issues or problems with sleeping. Go ahead. On Sunday, June 11th, the defendant takes the boys fishing, just the defendant and the three boys. No reports of any abnormal behavior on his part. Later, after the murders occurred, Doerman provided conflicting statements about whether he slept well or if at all on Sunday night. Monday, 3 days before the killings, defendant goes to work as usual Monday morning. His co-workers do not notice anything unusual or abnormal about his behavior or his words. He later, again, gave conflicting statements about whether he slept or whether he didn't sleep too good that evening, Monday, June 12, 2023. Tuesday, June 13th, he goes to work again as usual Tuesday morning. After work, normal conduct, normal behavior. He had some problem with his vehicle's headlights, and he works on those headlights. Later, again, after the killings, the defendant gave conflicting statements about whether he slept Tuesday night, but eventually indicates and admitted that he didn't sleep too good that night either, maybe just a few hours. And you'll see why this is significant as we go through this. The day before the murders, Wednesday, June 14th, 2023. The defendant wakes his stepdaughter up before he leaves for work, which is a highly unusual thing to do. He typically left for work at 4 or 5 in the morning. He wakes her up and tells her and apologizes for whatever I have done to you and for anything I've ever done to hurt you. Again, unusual, but will become meaningful in context as we know how the events unfolded later. Go ahead, please. Again, he's at work, and these co-workers, bosses, were all interviewed extensively by law enforcement, by the members of the Claremont County Sheriff's Office, and they report nothing was observed unusual about Doerman on that day. Just normal work day, normal behavior. The night before Chad Doerman murdered his children, June 14th, 2023, it was normal. He went as he did and coached his boys, or actually Coach Clayton. He coached third base that evening. The entire family went to the ball game. There were no indicators that anything this horrible was about to occur. Later, some folks did notice that perhaps while coaching third base, he seemed a little distracted, but nothing concrete, nothing you could latch onto to gauge in any fashion what was about to occur. Again, later to law enforcement, he gave multiple reports that he couldn't sleep at all the night before he killed his kids. The day of the murders, June 15th, 2023. The defendant gets up, goes to work, arrives at about 7 a.m. On his way to work, and we know this because we have his phone, and we got all his phone records and all his search history. On his way to work, he searches on YouTube for a song titled Happy in Hell. I'd never heard of that song before this, but I've unfortunately become acquainted with it and the lyrics. Go ahead. I'm not going to read them, but here they are.
Who wrote that song?
I don't know who wrote it.
Colt Ford.
I know Colt Ford sang it.
Right.
Who did?
Colt Ford, but go to the prior screen, please.
Holt Ford.
Sorry.
Colt Ford.
Colt Ford. I don't know who wrote it. I know it was recorded and performed by Colt Ford, who I don't know who that is either.
Hey, Sleuthy.
Thank you. Thursday morning, again, the day of the murder, the defendant's boss does notice something abnormal about his behavior, but nothing to the point where he was alarmed.
It's still going to cover it.
Report or to call anyone. The defendant leaves work at around 9:30 a.m. and goes to Kroger off of Beachmont and 5 Mile. And again, we know all this because we have his phone records, we know his locations, we know he's speaking with folks on the phone, he's sending messages. 9:42 a.m. And again, some of this is known from the Kroger parking lot video and the interior video of Kroger. 9:42, he arrives at the Kroger parking lot. 9:44, he enters Kroger. He's in the aisle by the vitamins and supplements. He walks over to the little clinic. And the reason he went to the little clinic is because his mother suggested he go there. He expressed to her, not to Laura, that he was having some confusing feelings. And we're going to tell you and emphasize that the little clinic, as good as it is, cannot as we understand it, it is not the right place to go for serious problems that you may feel you're having psychologically. Anyway, he walks to the little clinic at less than 2 minutes pass, and he leaves without speaking to anyone at the little clinic. So why he went there and why he immediately left after a minute and a half, we can't answer that. We don't know. And this is him, him walking in. I can't tell.
He arrives and will park.
This is 5 or 10 minutes. We're not going to play it. We can just zip through it.
Katie can use the mouse to fast forward.
But again, this will all be in the information we provide and release.
Kroger's a grocery store. There's a ton of them in Ohio, 'cause that's where it was started.
That's him entering from the top. The same clothes he was wearing when he killed his sons a few hours later. We need to take out these images of other folks. Maybe. That's him. Green shirt, blue jeans. It is noteworthy while we're going through this that despite the fact that his mother suggested he go to the little clinic, she never alerted Laura, never called 911 on his behalf, never called a crisis hotline, did nothing.
Did he only say confusing feelings? Did he
Let me run through this. I might take some questions afterwards. Thank you.
See him over here.
Do you know what he's looking at there?
Do not.
He's on the vitamins and adult nutrition. Vitamins, adult nutrition, diet, and protein powders. That's the aisle he's on.
I believe this is the little clinic counter.
It's kind of like, you know how Walgreens has like their little minute clinic thing? It's like that. It's if you need like antibiotics or flu shots or stuff like that. It's just kind of, it's definitely not for psychotic breaks.
Do we know what he purchased that day?
Nothing to our knowledge.
Or what he asked at the counter?
There's no one there.
So where he lives, Claremont County is, it's very rural, like
So he
Batavia
leaves the counter.
area. It's very, there's not a whole lot.
So he drives home. On the way home, he stops, buys a 16-ounce Bud Light, goes out to the shed behind the house. The family then arrives from running some errands, and the boys, happy to see their father, run to say hello to him. Just a normal afternoon or a normal morning, other than he came home a little bit early that day. He plays with the boys while Laura makes lunch. While eating lunch, oddly, the defendant says to Laura that this will be my last good meal.
Wow.
Having no information, no idea what Chad was contemplating, Laura begins to worry that this is a statement that he may be contemplating suicide. Shortly before he kills his kids, Doerman calls his father and makes the statement that Clayton is going to be the hardest one.
Ugh.
And down below, these are it's an excerpt from Doerman's phone records that show the telephone call that was made. Between around 1 p.m. and 3:30, the defendant spends the afternoon doing yard work, playing with the kids. Again, nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing to alert Laura that she needed to do something to protect the family. There's no information available to her. 3:30 to 3:45, he begins to read the Bible to Hunter. He's walking around the house with the Bible, mumbling, "Chad knows what's right. Chad knows what's right." Shortly before 4 p.m., he gets into the gun safe, leaving it unlocked. Laura says, "You are scaring me." Again, highly unusual behavior. And Chad says, "I'm just playing around." Our position is he did this to, again, allay any fears or concerns that may build up in her about her safety, his safety, or the safety of the boys or Alexis. So he actively deceived her. 4 p.m. He's telling Clayton, Hunter, and Chase that he loves them and they did nothing wrong, and that they are the best boys ever, knowing he's about to kill them.
Can you go back to that last one real quick?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Did you get it, David? Around 4 p.m. on that the day of the killing, the defendant and Laura and all three boys go into the master bedroom, playing, have lunch, a little tired, lie down, concerned that vaguely in the back of her mind that he's going to do something to hurt himself. And suddenly, after lying down, the defendant jumps up, grabs the 22 rifle from the safe, and terror fills the room. as Laura is screaming, the boys are screaming, Laura is frightened that he's about to kill himself. They're all trying to encourage him, telling him that they love him and beg him not to kill himself. Laura takes the phone out to call 911 to get some help there for Chad, who she believes is about to kill himself. He grabs her phone, throws it across the room, and tells her it's too late.
Oh.
He's not going to kill himself. It is too late to save those boys. And then what I can only imagine, well, I can't imagine. Takes the rifle, points it at Hunter, and shoots him multiple times. Laura sees this, Alexis sees this, Clayton sees this, Chase sees this. Laura screams to the other children to run while she tries to render aid and eventually does call 911 after Hunter has been shot. Hunter was shot in the right arm, right torso, stomach area, and twice in the right side of his head. The twice in the right side of his head, we believe, were the final two shots to ensure that Hunter was dead. All right, you're going to hear a couple 911 calls. And I ask you, in your discretion and your sensibility for the privacy and dignity of the family, to limit, as you see fit, what is disseminated to the public. Go ahead.
I can't tell what's happening, ma'am. I need you to calm down and tell me what's happening. Help me, God, help me. Ma'am. It hurts. It hurts, God. It hurts. My baby. What is happening? Hey, come on, run. Run. Ma'am, what is happening?
Pause for a second. You hear the male voice. That is Chad telling Laura to get off. She is fighting to save her children.
My husband shot my baby! 1964 went down! What? I can't tell what's happening, ma'am. I need you to calm down and tell me what's happening. Help me, God, help me! Ma'am. It hurts! It hurts, God! It hurts! My baby! What is happening? Hello? Can anybody hear me? Hello?
That's enough.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's enough. Would you go to the next slide? Thank you. Appreciate it. Anyway, Hunter was removed from the house by Laura. Tried to save his life. When you hear Laura tell him to run, Clayton runs out the back door. The defendant gives chase to Clayton. Alexis runs after the defendant in an effort to save Clayton. The unspeakable bravery of that, I cannot comprehend. But that's what this little girl did. While she's running to try to save Clayton, she observes the defendant raise his rifle, fire several shots, striking Clayton from some 50 or 70 yards distance. Clayton's down, and the defendant walks up to him calmly and executes him with 2 bullets to the head. Go ahead. So after Alexis sees this, she knows that Chase is still running around crying. She hears him. She runs back into the house to grab Chase. She grabs him, flees the residence, and begins to run across the yard out towards the street with the intent to go to the firehouse, which is, in close proximity to protect him. This is a Ring doorbell from a neighboring residence. So go ahead and play that, please. Please, oh, I'm sorry, just fine. The please don't shoot me is Alexis, as Doerman is pointing the rifle to her head as she is holding Chase and is compelled to put him down. Alexis sees Chase. He runs to the trash cans in the driveway and attempts to hide from the defendant, 3-year-old boy hiding from his father. Alexis runs to get help. At some point, the defendant points the gun at Chase's head and fires it, but the magazine is empty, so it's just a click, as I said the other day in court. And at some point, he reloads. Laura, protecting Chase, is physically fighting with the defendant. As I said, as you are aware, the defendant bit Laura. In a desperate attempt to save Chase, she places her thumb over the barrel of the rifle and took that projectile in an effort to save Chase. But unfortunately, the defendant was not to be deterred. He prevailed in the struggle, had control of the weapon, and executed Chase in front of Laura. Laura's, at some point we know, returns to where Hunter is in the side yard where she brought him out of the house. And these photographs, it's the side yard where Doerman was sitting with the side steps the side entrance of the house. Those steps where Doerman was sitting when the deputy sheriffs arrived. She's, again, trying to resuscitate, give aid to Hunter, and the defendant walks out to the field where he murdered Clayton, picks up his dead body of his 7-year-old son, and brings it back and lies it down next to Hunter. Then he brings Chase over and lies him down next to Hunter's body and Clayton's body, all while Laura is right there trying to render aid. You're familiar with these aerials, that this is essentially the area where he laid the bodies. If you see the sidewalk and I'm just step over here. Right here. That's the sidewalk leading up to the side entrance and the steps where the defendant was sitting when police arrived. And that's the area where he laid the bodies of Clayton and Chase. All right. 5 minutes after the first 911 call made by Laura, and we don't know why, it was disconnected. She makes the second call to 911. And again, I would ask you to exercise the same common decency and discretion when playing these. Thank you. Go ahead.
Graham County Dispatch, Gosling.
Hey, guys, thanks for playing. Where's that at?
1965 Laurel Lindale.
So it's at the Laurel Firehouse.
It's just north of the Laurel Firehouse.
Just north of the Laurel Firehouse.
North, right at the intersection of,
Give me that address. Give me that address one more time.
1965 Laurel Lindale.
1965 Laurel Lindale. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye. 901, where's your emergency? My can you hear me? My children are shot! My children are not breathing! Okay, what happened? No one helping me! How many people are shot? I think 3! My 3 children! 3 children are shot? Yes! Okay, what's your name? My name's Laura! I need help! Lauren, I have help on the way, Lauren. Did you say Lauren? Laura, I called and nobody came! They're driving there. They're on their way. They're on their way. Who is the shooter? What's his name? Father! The father killed him! What's his name? Doerman! Take the rest for you. I can't do it! What's his name? They killed my children! Are you with your children now? I'm waiting till they're all over the yard! I need help! Somebody overtake them! They got them! They really got them! Where is he? I'm trying. Let me help you. Take a deep breath so that I can help you. Okay. Do you want to do CPR? Okay, but I think they're not breathing. I have to CPR. Do you want to do CPR? Do you want to do CPR? I can help you see somebody that can hear me.
That's enough for now. You will get the whole call. Thank you. 4:26 p.m. Deputy Sparks, Popham with Claremont County Sheriff's Office arrive. So you know, this is some distance away. And they were responding with lights and sirens at a very rapid speed. Caring more about being dispatched to this horrible scene than their own safety. They get there, and they, well, here you go. Just watch this.
Where's he at? It's shooter stand up there. Get him right here. You got him on the porch.
We have about the last place we've been told.
Hands under your hands now! Stand up and walk towards us! Stand up now! Walk towards us! Stand up with your hands up! but we can't. You're on your first page, and we're not complying. You got this shooter. You gotta find cover first. We ain't no good if we ain't safe ourselves. Hey. We need to come from this side where we can see them. Come take cover behind it. We see them. We're going to approach from this side. We got cover. Right here.
6 number 29 and 53 type out.
Show us your fucking hands now. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up now. Stand up. Stand up. Fuck up. Get your hand. Come on, 21. Stand there. There's got to be some time that there's people that can just say that that's the shooter. It's not complying. I got the victim. They have to show him that shooter. The business manager, 63, we're going one. Get the EMS over here. Sober. I'm not trying to put you. Get your butt inside. Yeah, get your butt inside. We on primary? 29, we got 3 main now. 63, we're 21. Have EMS respond over here.
You're clear, they're being advised.
Robert 34, start mass pass to
63, do you want to respond to the Laurel and Dale address? Where exactly do you need them?
We're right in the front yard. What are you doing, man?
I ain't pretty talking all this.
I ain't gonna hurt you. I ain't gonna hurt nobody. You got anything on you? No, I ain't got nothing, man. Fire, that's it. I ain't nothing. Just make sure that dog don't come out. I don't think he'll bite you. Just don't reach for him and try to grab him and pet him. All right, he won't bite you. What's going on, man? Can I stand up? I'm gonna get you here. I ain't running away. You can do whatever you want. Here. You the only one else inside the house? What? You the only one else inside the house? Yeah. Sit down right here. My daughter, she ran over to the fire department. Sit down. It's my stepdaughter. Put him in that cage.
A couple things. These deputy sheriffs, they face dangerous situations every day. And they went fearlessly into the face of this scene where they know people were being shot. And they are to be commended, as is all law enforcement, for the acts of bravery they display every day. And we thank you. This screen here, as you recall, I earlier said that after the killings, defendant went over into the field and picked up Clayton. This is Clayton's blood. He slung him over his shoulder and carried him back and laid him down in the side yard. And this is all confirmed with DNA evidence, so there's no question that it's Clayton's blood. First responders and deputies on emergency scenes do what they typically do. They render aid, Deputy Sparks carried Chase just a short distance before he realizes Chase has died and gently lays him down on the ground. They cover the boys up with sheets. I've been to a lot of crime scenes. I don't expect to see sheets this long. So Hunter is carried to the life squad. That's why he ended up there. Chase is carried to through the yard, most of the yard, by the deputy, and Clayton remained where the defendant placed him after killing him. All right, go ahead and play it. Tell them I did it, take me to jail. The defendant is driven in custody to the sheriff's office for an interview. It was a very lengthy interview process where the defendant initially acted like he had no idea that his children had been shot, playing a game. But we have some clips from that we would like you to see. Notably here, when asked the names and ages of his children, he gives Hunter's name first, Clayton's name second, although Clayton's the oldest, and Chase's name third. And as you already know, that's the order in which he killed them. Do we get more volume? Oh, I thought you had a remote or something. Let's move on. We know what it says. Hopefully the audio quality will be better when you get it. During the interview, the defendant did acknowledge that he had been having difficulty sleeping or working leading up to the murders because he knew what he was going to do. As you can see, among these statements the defendant made to the detectives, Detective Mike Ross and Mike Green, that because Laura tried to stop him from murdering these boys, that he should have killed her first. You know the criminal justice process. He was charged initially through Claremont County Municipal Court, held on I believe a $20 million bond, and subsequently indicted by the Claremont County Grand Jury on the 21 counts, 9 counts of aggravated murder, 3 for each boy. Now, at this point, I'm going to ask Laura Barron Allen to handle this part of it. So we're going to talk about the not guilty by reason of insanity defense and the serious mental illness defense, and she can walk you through that. Thank you.
So in March of this year, the defendant filed a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. In Ohio, in order to prevail on that kind of plea, it would be the defendant's burden to show or to prove that at the time of the offenses, he had a severe mental disease or defect, and that he did not know as a result of a severe mental disease or defect the wrongfulness of his actions. The defense, subsequently to their expert rendering that opinion, also filed a motion under revised code section 2929.025, the serious mental illness statute, which is relatively new in the state of Ohio, just beginning in 2021. And under the serious mental illness statute, again, the defendant would have the burden of showing by preponderance of the evidence that he has been diagnosed with one of 4 mental diseases: schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, bipolar disorder, or delusional disorder. If an expert opines that he has in fact been diagnosed with one of those mental diseases, then he would also have to show that at the time he committed the offenses, that the condition with which he's been diagnosed significantly impaired his ability or capacity to exercise rational judgment in relation to, first, conforming his conduct with the requirements of law, or second, appreciating the nature, consequences, or wrongfulness of his conduct. One of the things that all of the experts considered here is that prior to June 15th of 2023, the defendant was never diagnosed, treated, or prescribed any medication for any mental health condition. The expert hired by defense counsel in this case was Dr. Robert Stenson. The court's expert as to the question of not guilty by reason of insanity, again commonly referred to as NGRI, was Dr. Emily Davis. Despite the defense's contention, the experts did not agree on whether or not the criteria of NGRI, that the defendant met the criteria for NGRI. Both doctors, both Dr. Davis and Dr. Stenson, indicated that it was likely at the time of the offenses the defendant did suffer from a mood disorder. Could have been depression, could have been anxiety, could have been anything or nothing. They really weren't sure. But where the two experts differed was that Dr. Davis opined that the defendant did not meet the criteria for NGRI because he did know the wrongfulness of his actions. Dr. Davis specifically opined that with all of the information considered and reviewed, it was her opinion that despite the defendant experienced some symptoms of severe mental disease, that it was her opinion that he continued to know the wrongfulness of his behaviors in the offenses charged. Although some collateral records suggest a delusional thought process that served as motivation, such as when the defendant claimed he believed he was in hell at the time, there are also behaviors demonstrated by the defendant and commentary that he makes around the time of the offenses, which indicated he continued to know the wrongfulness of his actions. And as you saw in the body-worn camera, those kind of comments would be, tell them I did it, take me to jail. Hey, officers, I'm not mad. I'm not on any drugs. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to run. The dog won't bite you. All of those comments do show that he had an awareness, that he knew what was right and wrong at the time, and that he could conform his behavior to that. What's important to note is that neither Dr. Stenson nor Dr. Davis were able to diagnose the defendant during their NGRI evaluation with any specific mental health disease. During all of the evaluations, the doctors all agreed that while the defendant was incarcerated, he exhibited no acute mental health symptoms and received no mental health treatment or medication. And again, as we noted, the various statements that were made by the defendant both on scene, in his interview, and after the fact are not consistent with someone in the throes of a delusion. Yeah, go ahead. You're fine. You're fine. However, after rendering his opinion as to not guilty by reason of insanity, Dr. Stinson did submit an opinion as to whether or not the defendant suffered from a serious mental illness at the time he committed these offenses. What Dr. Stinson opined essentially was that the defendant was bipolar and that he was unable to appreciate, again, the wrongfulness of his actions or conform his behavior to law.
Bullshit.
However, as we reviewed Dr. Stinson's report, there was no explanation of how he came to that conclusion of the diagnosis of bipolar, especially since he provided, between the time of his NGRI opinion and his SMI opinion, there was no further testing of the defendant, there were no further interviews of the defendant, there was nothing done other than speaking with the defendant's parents and brother one more time for approximately a total of a half an hour. Additionally, there was nothing in his report that would indicate that his diagnosis of bipolar disorder conformed with the diagnostic criteria as required in the DSM-5, which is kind of the holy grail of psychiatry and psychology. Based on Dr. Stinson's report, the court appointed Dr. Carla Dreyer to conduct a second SMI evaluation of the defendant, and she had a completely different opinion from Dr. Stinson. In her opinion, she noted that it was her belief the defendant did not suffer from a serious mental illness at the time of the offense, which significantly impaired his capacity to exercise rational judgment in relation to his conduct with respect to either conforming his conduct to the requirements of law or appreciating the nature, consequences, or wrongfulness of his conduct. She went on to note that with regard to the statutory criteria, records suggest that the defendant has a history of controlling behaviors as well as poor frustration tolerance and chronic anger likely related to his underlying personality structure. The available information indicates that the defendant took multiple steps to kill his children, shooting his wife and threatening his stepdaughter in the process. Dr. Dreyer's opinion continued, stating he made statements to indicate that he knew he was killing them. Mr. Doerman's careful execution of the murders, coupled with statements he made to law enforcement after they arrived on scene, indicated that he appreciated the nature of what he did as well as the wrongfulness and consequences of such. You have all now heard the 911 calls. Again, you have seen the body-worn camera, and you have seen at least portions, if not all, of the defendant's interview. During the 911 calls, during the body-worn cameras, he is not making the same claims that he only begins to make during his interview when questioned by detectives. You never hear him say, "We're in hell. I have to get to heaven. I have to get you to heaven. I see flames. The devil made me do it." He made no statements that would indicate in any way, shape, or form during his slaughter of his children that would show or indicate that he truly was in the throes of a delusion. This was something that we believe he concocted during the course of his interview. Again, the defendant made a variety of statements to law enforcement which would indicate that he knew what he was doing at the time and that were not consistent with someone who was in the throes of a delusion. If you're in the throes of a delusion and you think, hey, I have to save my boys, I'm doing a good thing by sending them to heaven and helping them escape from hell, you would say that. But instead, during the course of the interview, multiple times, the defendant denies being the shooter. Those kind of statements were made multiple times during the course of the interview, whether he specifically denied it or started to claim that he didn't remember, or maybe he wasn't there, maybe he was at work, or something along those lines. But again, why would you deny doing an act unless you knew it was wrong? At times, again, the defendant claimed not to remember anything about what had happened that day. But then there were other times, specifically to his family, his mother, his father, his brother, where he would make specific statements. Oh no, I remember everything, including why I did that. So there in the interview, he's saying, what happened? I don't know what happened. You tell me, detective. You tell me what happened because I don't know. That's very different than what he says to his mother in a recorded jail call.
10 days later.
10 days later.
You don't need an outrage. You took away everything. And you don't remember it. And you know only what they tell you. But she remembers. I remember everything. You do? And now, I'm not talking about that. No, that's where you're going to do.
I can't hear them either. Barely.
All the way to all the reasons why and everything.
So I know that was hard to hear, but in the interview on June 15th, the date he committed these atrocious acts, the defendant's acting like he has no idea what's going on. Just 10 days later, he's talking to his mom, who is, now mind you, they've all met with their attorneys, they've started the discussions of the NGRI defense, they've started discussions about mental health and how that can help him. So to his mom, who's saying, no, you don't remember, he's saying, yeah, I do. I absolutely do. I remember everything, including why I did it. And again, we have reviewed numerous jail calls that the defendant made while incarcerated, and there were multiple times where he made statements that were inconsistent with the statements he made to doctors or on his own behalf in an attempt to mitigate his actions on June 15th. Some of those are, again, calls with his parents and brother.
Oh, the psychiatrist. The psychiatrist when you talk to him. And I went talk to him. Then the captain came and seen me. So I just talked to the psychiatrist. Because I already talked to her. She moved me down to level 1. I was supposed to be playing with him. She said he's not a threat to himself. Moved me down to level 1. So I was supposed to act close. Well, guess what? I can't get close. And David, that's a really good time to talk to the psychiatrist. No. What was that going to do? You sit in this grass tomorrow. When ain't doing anything no good, why am I going to go home? She looked at me, she goes, "Can you feel bad for what we did?"
So,
And I done stuff that that'd be in a conversation. And then she looked at everybody and he's not a threat to himself.
so again, I know that was a little difficult to hear, but in that call, he's talking about 2 days after these events. He's talking about meeting with a psychiatrist, and he's talking about not wanting to meet with her because it's not going to get him anything. So he already knows that he can benefit, depending on what he says, to doctors. And you heard in that the doctor at the time is trying to determine whether or not he's a threat to himself, whether or not he needs to be at a specific level of supervision at the jail. And one of the things she asked him is, do you feel bad for what you've done? And his response is no. And the next call, please.
Hey, they thought Hitler was a big dude. But, you know, I'm back here.
So again, in case anyone had any question about whether he knows what he's done is wrong, in this jail call with his brother, again, 2 days after he has just slaughtered his children, he is comparing himself to Hitler and how Hitler made news across the world, and so has he. 12 days after these incidents. So within 2 weeks, he's comparing himself to Hitler and saying, he's as big as Hitler. He is internationally known. Look at me.
I'll go from there. Thank you, Laura.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we come to the plea. As you know, in the brief remarks I made Friday, the defense came to us on Tuesday morning, offered us life without parole. We brought in Laura Doerman and talked her through this. Wanted to find out what she wanted to do. And again, as I said Friday, this decision was made to prevent further harm to the family. And we know what life without parole means. That means he's never getting out of prison alive. So the sentencing was 3 consecutive life without parole, count 1 for Clayton, count 2 for Hunter, count 3 for Chase, count 18 for Laura for having their rifle pointed at her head. Count 18 for Alexis for having the rifle pointed at her head, and count 20 for Laura for being, among other things, shot in the thumb. We discussed this at press conference with Laura. I can tell you she is grievously injured, so is Alexis. And they have our sorrow, and they will always have whatever aid we can bring to them. But this is a message from Laura to the community. No one who knew the defendant could have imagined the person they knew before June 15th, 2023 committing these acts. They were a normal family. The boys were happy. But she wants everyone to be aware and spread this among your family, friends, loved ones. If you are struggling with thoughts of self-harm or thoughts of harming others, or if you know of anyone who is, please reach out. You will not be judged. Help is available. Call a crisis hotline or call 988 or go to your nearest hospital. Violence is never the solution. Thank you.
Mark, why did you hold this press conference?
To give you additional information on what was going on here, more than we could relate in a few minutes on the courthouse steps.
Does it have anything to do with trying to let the public have a better understanding of why you struck this plea deal with this defendant?
No, I explained that, I think, sufficiently on Friday. It's to let the public know what was going on behind the scenes here and to emphasize the great sorrow we have for this family and how this was something out of the blue. This was lightning from a blue sky. Go ahead, I'll take a couple questions.
Should we still know why Chet did this?
No idea. Don't know why. That will probably never be answered. You look at this nice little family, sweet little family. I can't speculate as to why it happened. Can't do it.
And they were getting, that you're saying they were a happy family, at least everybody thought. Laura had no, in hindsight.
I'm not going to speak for Laura other than what I know is that they were a happy family. We'll never put a word in her mouth.
Do we know anything specifically about maybe what he told his mother before he went to the little clinic? I know he expressed maybe he was having confusion. Was there any specifics about what he said?
I don't recall, but it'll be in the materials. All right, thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
I don't think any of that's ours.
Okay, so I'll read you the statement from Laura.
This is fantastic.
Oh, okay. All right, so the statement from Laura says, Good afternoon. My name is Laura Doerman, and I am the mother of Alexis, Clayton, Hunter, and Chase. On June 15th, 2023, my children and I went through a nightmare that most people cannot even begin to imagine. We grieve every day for my boys, and we miss them so much. I understand that the plea and sentencing today may have come as a surprise to some people, and that many people still have questions about what happened to Clayton, Hunter, and Chase. I know the prosecutor's office will be answering some of those questions at a press conference on Monday. I am in full agreement with how the criminal case was resolved, and the decision to end this criminal case with a plea and multiple life sentences brings some finality to the court case for my daughter and me. No punishment will ever bring my boys back. Having a guarantee that he will spend the rest of his life behind bars is what is best for my family. I would like to thank the Claremont County Sheriff's Office for all of their work on this case, especially Detectives Mike Ross and Sean Schubert. I'd like to thank all of the first responding officers and firefighters and paramedics who were there that day and did what they could for my boys and my family. Finally, I'd like to thank the prosecution team for their support and assistance through the court process. I have two requests from everyone here and everyone watching this. First, please respect my family's privacy. We do not want media or individuals to try to contact us about this case. My daughter and I are real people who have to wake up every day and try to go on with our lives after losing the boys. We may just be a news story to you, but this is our reality. If you have any questions, please direct them to the prosecutor's office. My second request is for everyone to remember and talk about Clayton, Hunter, and Chase for who they were before the events of June 15th, 2023. Remember them as the three little boys who loved fishing, go-karting, and swimming. Remember them as the little boys who were always at the baseball fields or running around outside. Remember them as the boys who loved to have fun and were inseparable from one another. Their lives are not only about what happened to them, they are so much more than that. I love you, Clayton, Hunter, and Chase. So, this is them. Oh, so, so that's, I posted the statement if you want to see it. I posted it on Twitter. But that that 911 call is probably the hardest 911 call I've ever listened to. So I am glad that the family does not have to go through the trial. I was furious when I found out that he pled not guilty, especially after he had admitted to planning this. I was just enraged that he pled not guilty. And then pleading not guilty by reason of insanity pissed me off all over again because he knew exactly what he was doing. So I am glad that they reached a plea deal so that they don't have to go through the trial. I can't even imagine having to be in that courtroom. So yeah, that one's tough. He was death penalty. They were pursuing death penalty, which Ohio hasn't. They have death penalty, but they haven't. Well, that's a whole nother tangent. Anyway, they haven't executed anybody in a while. But that's a whole nother story. But anyway, they were pursuing death penalty, but with the plea deal, no death penalty, but 3 life sentences. I mean, he'll never walk free again. So. You couldn't hear the audio, and I know they even said it, and I heard them saying something about the asking to turn it up or whatever. It's so hard to even talk about. But I'll see if I can get the I'll see if I can get the calls. Hold on. Let me pull up.
On behalf of Laura Doerman, Your Honor.
It's Friday.
On June 15th, 2023, my life was changed forever. My life was ripped away from me and destroyed. Since that day, I have spent every day grieving the loss of my 3 sweet, so very little sons. I grieve the loss of Clayton, Hunter, and Chase every single day, and I grieve the life that they did not get to live. I no longer get to raise them and watch them grow. I miss each one of them so very much. I miss their laughter, silliness, love, and joy for life. Where there used to be so much laughter, happiness, noise of rowdy little boys, there is now silence and emptiness. I would do anything to push them on the swing, cover them up one more time, and hear their little ways of saying, I love you. All of it gone when I should have had so much more life left to live with them. I ask myself how a mother is supposed to carry on a life as a mom with one child left here on earth and 3 gone forever. I struggle every day with the will to get up or give up. Life for me is the true pain and suffering. I will never agree to think that any form of punishment could amount to the form of torture and suffering I have to endure each day, such as seeing children and seeing siblings together as I watch Alexis be without her brothers, and seeing families together as I no longer have mine. Having to live a life where I'm visiting the same places I once was with Clayton, Hunter, and Chase all together. Traveling in the car and no longer seeing them in the rearview mirror. This also includes our family home that holds so many memories that I cannot let go of. But now it's just a devastating to face. Again, so empty and quiet. I was injured that day, fighting with every ounce of my body to just make it stop. I struggle every day, knowing, and now I have to live with this and wonder what more I could have done to save them. This tragedy has affected me mentally and physically. I replay the events of that day over and over. I get sick at the thought. Every day I have to learn how to cope and live with the trauma I now have. I have anger, frustration, and so much sadness. I had plans and dreams to watch my small boys grow up and become young men, and to always be there for them as their mom, and to be the best grandma I could be. My husband I trusted with everything made a decision that has left my life forever changed. I lost my husband and my children to this horrible crime. The law will never replace my life and give me back what I have lost. I will hold the life I had and lived so close to my heart forever. Grief will never go away, as it is all the love that is left with no place to go. And my love for Clayton, Hunter, and Chase will never go away. And I will never let them be forgotten. I quote, "When I get to where I'm going, I'll only have happy tears. Until then, I will live my days with nothing but sadness." Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Alexis.
All right, let me get Alexis. Whew.
Go ahead, Mr. Baron Allen.
Thank you, Your Honor. On behalf of Alexis, Chad, I trusted you with my life. And honestly, I looked up to you more than anyone. And I always wanted to make sure that I was making you proud for whatever I accomplished in life. But most of all, I saw you as my dad, not just a stepdad. I am the person who I am today because of you. And no matter what anyone says, you raised me well, and you gave me an amazing life, and I will forever be grateful for the memories and time you spent with me. Ever since what you've done, my life has been something I would never wish upon any family. It is the most heartbreaking and emotional thing anyone could go through. Chad, I miss you, and I miss the boys dearly, and nothing will ever be the same again because of you. Whenever something exciting happens, I always just want to tell you, because I know you would be so proud of me. Softball to me isn't the same anymore, because that was our sport, and that was the boys' sport. You made me an amazing ball player, and whenever I play softball, there isn't one game where I don't think about you. And whenever I get a good hit or I learn a new pitch, I always wish I could tell you, because I know you would be so proud of me. And when good things like that happen, it sucks to look on the sideline and not see you be there, and for the boys not to be cheering me on like they always did. And Chad, I still work very hard on my grades. And I was on the honor roll this past year. And I know for a fact, if you were there to see it, you would be so happy for me, because my grades have always been so important to me. Another thing that has impacted me was every single holiday. Waking up on Christmas isn't the same anymore. I don't get excited. I don't even look forward to having presents because it's not the same. I don't get to wake up early and wake the boys up. I don't get to hide the elf. I don't get to do any of the fun stuff anymore because they're gone and you took their lives. And Chad, when you go to bed every single night, I want you to know that when you took those 3 boys' lives away, you took mine and you took my mom's. Chad, I don't think you understand how hard it is to wake up every day. People around me have siblings, and to hear them talk about what they did with their siblings that day, or how much they enjoy having a brother. Because deep down, that hurts me so badly and so emotionally, because it hurts to know I will never get to experience another day with my 3 brothers, or to make any memories anymore, because their innocent lives were taken away so quickly and horribly by their own father. Their father who they loved unconditionally and who they trusted more than anything. It is so painful to see you here and in jail for the rest of your life, because I have never thought in a million years you would do this. And I will never get them back. But Chad, if I'm being honest, I don't think I will ever be able to hate you. Even in 30 years from now, I will not hate you. Because yes, you did something so horrific and traumatic to those boys. But I will forever hold on to the memories I had with you and the boys, because those are all happy memories. And those were the best times. And you gave me an amazing life, and you were the best dad I could have ever asked for. I could write to you for days, but to end this off, always remember I will never in a million years ever forgive you for what you have done and hope you pay for your actions like you deserve. But I will never hate you.
I hate him enough for the both of us. So if you if you missed what happened, like the details of what happened, because I saw some of you asking, confused about some of the stuff that, how everything went down. So the court documents, let me find my notes on them. Court documents said he got home from work. He requested that his 3 sons and wife join him in the primary bedroom for a nap. They laid down in the bed. Sometime after they laid down in the bed, Doerman opened his gun safe and retrieved a Marlin rifle. He then shot Hunter twice, killing him. The first, that would be the first 911 call that we heard that was so hard. So the wife began trying to help that child while telling the other 2 sons to run. At this point, the stepdaughter, who was watching TV, was entering the bedroom and witnessed the first shots. So she ran after one of the boys, telling him, keep running. And then Chad chased the one that she told to keep running. Chad chased him into a nearby field, shot him from behind, and then point blank in the head. And then this is Clayton. And then he carried Clayton back to the house's yard. And then the stepdaughter then re-entered the house, picked up Chase, and escaped to the road. Chad followed her and aimed the rifle at her, telling her to put Chase down. That was when we heard the neighbor's Ring camera where she's screaming, "Don't shoot me." So he aimed the rifle at her, told her to put Chase down. He tried to fire, but it was out of ammunition. So Chase ran to his mom, who was now outside in the yard trying to render aid to Clayton. Alexis got away and went and informed a passerby that her stepfather was shooting her family. And then we've heard that 911 call before. And then she continued on to run to the Monroe Township Fire Department, which was right down the road. So Doerman then went inside and carried Hunter's body outside, laying him in the yard. He then tried to wrestle Chase from his wife, reportedly biting her in the process. When she managed to grab the rifle, he fired, shooting his wife in the thumb, which made her drop Chase. And then Chad shot him in the head. And then laid his body down next to his brother's, and then sat on the side stoop of his house, watching his wife try to resuscitate the boys until the police arrived at 4:25 p.m. So, that sucks. The daughter was 14 at the time. So, and that's been just over a year, like a year and 2 months. So I'm assuming she would be 15 now. She was 14 in June of last year. So, that's a tough one, y'all. I think that was, honestly, I think that was the hardest 911 call I've ever listened to. I put the Streamlabs thing banner up so you couldn't see, but I was bawling my eyes out. So, I am glad that the plea deal means that they don't have to sit through a trial. I couldn't imagine having to do that. So, I pray for peace for them as much as you could have after something like this. But what's crazy too is the stuff. I mean, he said in one of the police report, or one of the statements, it said from the court documents, it said that he had told them that he had planned this for months. Well, I got that document when all of this first happened, and I got all the documents, and then they ended up redacting that part for some reason. I guess because they didn't want too much information to come out while they were working on the prosecution or something. But they ended up redacting that part, which I thought was weird. But he had told them that he had planned it, and but then his confession was thrown out because of the Miranda rights not being read properly, or parts that were missed. Anne gifted a membership. Thank you so much, Anne. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, the good news is he's never going anywhere. But I just can't imagine. I don't know. This one's hard. The ones with, and because he was supposed to go to trial this month, and I was trying to mentally and emotionally prepare myself for this trial as much as you can going into something this heavy, but I'm glad they're not doing one. Get in the car, get to the membership. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know that. I struggled so much even just making the video, like the intro video to the case. My face is like red and puffy the entire time. It's like, how do you even talk about this one without getting choked up? So, could you imagine them having to sit through a trial? I can't. So, Hades Music Man says, I'm glad I stopped watching trials. Too stressful for me. After the last one, well, second to last one, actually the last two, really. The last two were very stressful. The, Black Swan and Karen Reed were both very stressful. Erica843 member for 10 whole months. Special shout out to Queen Olive Ruth Ann for the gifted membership, 10 whole months. Thank you, Queen Olive Ruth Ann, for gifted membership to Erica843, who now gets to celebrate her 10-month anniversary with us. Also, like, it still has my stomach in knots. Yeah, Karen Reed is still not all the way done. Speaking of which, there was a new filing today. So remember, here it is. Remember Juror B, the hearsay juror, where somebody talked to the juror and this person had a conversation, and then this person sent a screenshot to this person and this person sent it to the attorneys? Well, the actual juror reached out to David Yannetti and said, yes, I can confirm that was my screenshot, and that is what I said. I'll read what it says in just a second. And for 1 whole month, thank you for covering. I can tell it was tough. It was tough, wasn't it? Jadzia 1969. It was tough. It was a tough one. No, they never offered a reason why he did it. But he obviously knew it was wrong because of, you know, certain things he said. Tell them I did it, take me to jail. That shows that you know that you're going to go to jail for doing something that you weren't supposed to do. So, all right, so real quick, let's look at this. All right, so let's see if I can make this bigger. For my old eyeballs. Oh, Ricky Watson. Hey, Ricky Watson. Ricky Watson gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much, Ricky Watson. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's very generous. Oh, shoot. Okay, so gosh, I can't read it on here. I don't feel like I have young eyeballs. RDB member for 11 whole months. Thank you, Brandi, for your compassionate and vigilant search for the truth. And thank you, Ada K, for making this milestone possible. Yay. Thank you. Happy 11 months. Happy 11 months. Let me read this on my phone because I can't read it on here. It's too small. I have it saved Okay, so this is Yanetti's affidavit. Okay, I'm an attorney, licensed, et cetera, et cetera. We know how all that stuff goes. Okay, so on July 31st, I received an unsolicited phone call from someone who informed me that he or she was a juror at the trial of this matter. The caller informed me of his or her full name, which confirmed for me that he or she was Juror B, information about whom I had included in my previous affidavit filed in support of this motion. During my phone conversation with Juror B, he or she confirmed for me that the jury reached unanimous not guilty verdicts on indictments 1 and 3. He or she told me that the only charge on which the jury was deadlocked was indictment 2. Juror B told me that he or she was familiar with the affidavit that I previously filed in support of this motion. Juror B confirmed for me that the screenshot of a text message exchange that stop pressing buttons, Brandi, that I referenced in paragraph 4 of that affidavit was accurate. Specifically, Juror B confirmed that he or she had texted, quote, it was a not guilty on second degree and split in half for the second charge. When the judge sent us back with that Hernandez, supposed to be Tui Rodriguez is what they mean, thing to look at the other side, it turned into a bully match. I thought the prosecution didn't prove the case. No one thought that she hit him on purpose or even thought she hit him on purpose. They gave free counseling forms when we left. So for that sentence, Juror B clarified that they meant to write, no one thought that she hit him on purpose or even knew that she had hit him. Juror B believes that every member of the jury, if asked, will confirm that the jury reached not guilty verdicts on indictments 1 and 3. Juror B believes that even jurors who were leaning toward a conviction on some part of indictment 2 will confirm that the other 2 indictments were acquittals. He or she believes that the other jurors have been reluctant to come forward because there is so much public and media attention focused on this case. So, that is the newest filing. So we'll hear more about this on Friday. We have the hearing for Karen Reed on Friday where they're going to argue this. Rhodey member for 7 whole months. Happy 7-month anniversary. Y'all are awesome here. Love you, Brandi, and all the peeps in chat. We love you too. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So that's our update. Split on 2 was indictment 2 was the manslaughter charge with the lesser includeds. So apparently they were all split on those. So we'll hear all of this on Friday. Melissa, member for 6 whole months. Thank you, Ricky Watson, for making this milestone possible. Love my 13th juror family. We love you too. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Candace. And the jury instructions confused a lot of good lawyers. How is the average person supposed to just know what they were supposed to be? Yeah, if you listen to the last podcast episode, I went over that a lot, and specifically about the part where it says in the jury instructions, once you have reached a unanimous decision on all 3 counts, then fill out the boxes on the form. So if you never reached a unanimous on all 3, then you would never get to the point of checking the boxes. So I can see how there was, and I'm not saying that's Judge Beverly's fault, like the attorneys saw it too, saw the jury instructions too. I'm not blaming any one person, but I'm saying those jury instructions were, with them having split verdicts, according to what they're saying, I can see how that would be really confusing. So we'll see. I don't think that, I don't see Beverly doing anything about it, but they'll appeal that, which will probably push this out and Who knows? It's just, I had kind of assumed that they would, I don't know, I guess I just assumed that that would be something that was discussed off camera. Like, if there was any question about them being in agreement for any of the other charges, I just kind of assumed that that would be cleared up, but before they came out, but it wasn't. They came out and she read the note and declared mistrial, and that was just it. So I don't know. I mean, they can try to, I know they're going to fight to poll the jury on it and see. I think that the prosecution needs to just drop the first and third charge anyway, because I don't think there's any chance of getting conviction on them. But, what do I know? Yeah, based on what they were saying, based on what the affidavit says, it says that the people who did think that she hit him don't think that she knew that she hit him. So that's that. They're going to drag Karen Reed as much as possible. I agree. I agree. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. All right. Well, so we've got that going on Friday. I don't think there's any other trials going on this week. Are there? I was in bed all weekend, so I didn't look, but I don't think so. Because all the ones that I'd planned on covering in July, like Chad Doerman was supposed to be in July, Lori Vallow was supposed to be in August. Both those got delayed, so we'll have to see what's going on. But we'll definitely be together on Friday for the Karen Reed hearing. And yeah, there was supposed to be a motion hearing for Sarah Boone today, which I was planning on covering this morning, but I didn't get my internet back until after it would have already been over. But then when I got my internet back and I looked, it looks like it got delayed because of the hurricane. So I'll find out when that one's going to be rescheduled for, and we'll do that one. It's at 2 o'clock on Friday is what time it's scheduled for Karen Reed. 2 o'clock Eastern on Friday. So we'll go live a little bit before then, hang out, chit chat, catch up, all that good stuff. And if anything comes up between now and then that we can stream and watch together, we will. Like I said, I didn't get to look at anything this weekend because I was sick in bed all weekend, but I will scour the internet and look to see what else is going on this week so we can hang out. All right. This was an emotional one, y'all. I appreciate you watching with me. Oh, let's, hold on. I'm going to redirect you. Broken Baker has Mark Betterow on right now, and they're talking about the new Karen Reed filing. Let's go raid them. Redirect. All right. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to redirect over there. I will see y'all over there.